Hey guys, so I've had some questions about doing YouTube content, so this is going to be the first new video. People have asked me how I do my non-metallic golds, so we're going to go down to the table and I'm going to show you on a Space Marine how I do my non-metallics. For this you will need 5 paints, all citadel. You will need Rhinox Hide, Mournfang Brown, XV88, Balor Brown and Screaming Skull, and a detail brush, and that's it. I'll see you down at the table in a minute. So here we are, we've got a Primaris Marine and we're going to be painting his Aquila on his chest. We're going to start with Rhinox Hide. I've already got a couple drops of this on my wet palette. If you want to see how to put your paints into dropper bottles, I will link the video in the description. So this is your complete and utter base coat, so you want to do a nice thin coat over everything you want to be gold. Making sure to get into all those recesses. Just like that. Then with a clean brush you're going to want to work with some Mournfang Brown. So the Rhinox Hide is going to act as your deepest, darkest shadow, so all the very, very deep recesses right along these edges here and right under the feathers, we're going to keep them as Rhinox Hide, whereas the rest will become Mournfang Brown. I'll show you what I mean. We'll start with this side here. So we want to take this one up all the way along that branch there, and then here we want to take the bottom edge to the outer edge on each feather. How much space you leave is entirely up to you. I like to leave about 1 millimeter. As for the skull, we want to do the entire front, making sure not to get it in the eye sockets, and then just crest over the top, leaving about 1 millimeter between where the Mournfang finishes and the Rhinox finishes. And we want to take this branch up and do each feather in turn. Like so. Once that coat is dry, we then start working on the first gold colour. So these create a nice base tone. XV88 is the first colour that makes it start looking anything like gold. So I want a couple drops of that in the wet palette. And you basically want to do the same thing you did with the Mournfang Brown. You want to just leave a slight gap so that you can see the Mournfang underneath, and take it up to the fine points. In with the skull, full front of the face, and just crest, just leaving a little bit of that Mournfang Brown on show. Okay, just like that. So you can now see we've got a fair amount of detail. It's got a goldy look to it and it looks defined. Okay, now we want to work with Balor Brown. Now this is our first of 2 highlights. So this is a medium tone highlight. Just want a couple of drops of that on the wet palette. So now you need to think about where your light is coming from. I usually stick at a simple zenithal highlight. So it is anything that approaches down or a 45-degree angle. So it's going to be essentially all of our faces. So we want to bring in here. So all the way to the tip. And then just do some fine highlights on the tips of the feathers. We don't want to do the whole feather like we've done with the rest of them, because it'll be a bit too much. We just want to highlight the tips. And then for the face, down the front, across the forehead. Just like that. Same thing on the other side. Of course this one comes into more shadow because of this arm. So we're not going to go all the way to the tip. And we're going to do the tips of these feathers here. Just like that. So this is where we are, this is where we stand at the moment. Now we are going to use some Screaming Skull, which is our fine edge highlight. You don't have to use very much of this. It is very, very likely that we are going to use it. Just take off the excess there onto my thumb. So we want to pick up the most highlighted points, which will be places like this corner here and the very tips of the feathers. Again, this corner and the very tips of the feathers. Now you notice as it starts to dry it does turn slightly transparent, which is brilliant because it takes on the tone of the colours underneath it and stops it looking so garish. Now for the skull, I want to bring down where the nose ridge would be, down to the bottom jaw, and then just across where the eyebrows would be, and a little bit over the forehead. And that is enough, that is all you need. Okay, so I'm going to try and hold this steady, and that is what we have done, that is where we've worked. So working with these 5 simple colours, we've created a non-metallic gold that is quite passable to a high tabletop standard if you work with it long enough. So this is the one that we worked on today. This is Gilliman that I'm currently working on, another Games Workshop model. He has a lot of gold on his armour. So as you can see, I've got most of my Mournfang in place now, and I'm starting to work in the other colours. Over here we've just got XV88, and this piece and the chest are completed up to Screaming Skull. And then we also have another mini that I started on. It's this guy here, the Imperial Wolves Prime by Wargame exclusive. Doing a slightly different technique with this one. Once I finished with the Screaming Skull, I added a thin coat of Seraphim Sepia Wash just to pick out some of those recesses again in a mid-tone. Hi guys, I hope this video has helped you out. If you would like to see any other techniques, please do comment below and I will see about getting them done for you. Don't forget to check out my Twitch channel. I am live up 3 to 5 days per week, and there'll be more YouTube content coming, including stuff about taking care of your airbrush and stuff like that. Link to link to the dropper bottles will be down below, and I'll throw down some social media links as well. Thanks for watching. See you again.